Hi everybody, welcome to Mr. Kurt's concert band class, the online video lessons, and we are going to pretty much just jump right into today's lesson, so I highly recommend checking out lessons 1 and 2 if you haven't yet. Especially in lesson 1, there's a lot of really important information on how to properly set up your saxophone, how to play with a good embouchure, how to have good posture, where your neck strap should go, all of those things. So, it's all very important info, and I highly recommend that you check it out so that we are all on the same page before we get started. And also, I am not going to do this with you for today's lesson, but I also highly recommend that you do a warm-up before we start today's lesson. So you can play lines 1 through 10 in the book if you'd like. You can also play some long tones like play a note for as long as you can hold it, and then move on to the next note. That is a really good way to practice your tone and your embouchure, making sure everything's sounding good that way. So we want to, when we're doing long tones, we want to really make sure that our tone itself, the pitch of the note, stays the same. So listen to what we don't want it to sound like. This is going to be, the pitch is going to be all over the place, and it's going to be not in control or anything like that. So listen to what that sounds like. Okay, so we don't want it to sound like that at all, right? We want a really nice, consistent, solid, supported tone. So listen to that. So if you have a tuner at home that has a microphone on it, you can play into the microphone, and it will show you whether or not your note is in tune. You can also just download an app. The app that I like to use is called Tuner Lite. It has just a built-in tuner right there. It's really simple and easy to use, and it'll show you if the notes you're playing are in tune. With all that being said, make sure you get a good warm-up in. And we're going to start with our lesson. And before we start with our lesson, we want to make sure that we're using our metronome, right? And remember, all you got to do is type metronome into Google, and it'll pop right up. So I'm going to set the metronome to 60 beats per minute. We're going to keep things nice and slow for now. Making sure that we are ready to play. And not stressing out about how fast the tempo is or anything like that. So we're going to jump right in to where we left off on our last lesson. That's line 22, split decision. And you'll notice that it's a duet, and I don't know about you, but there's nobody at my house that plays the saxophone, so we're going to have to do the duets a little differently. For this particular duet, if I'm playing the A part, I want you to play the B part. And if I'm playing the B part, I want you to play the A part. So we're going to do a little duet with each other, okay? So I'm going to play both parts. I'm going to start with the A part first, and then I want you to play the B part, okay? So 1, 2, ready, play. Okay, now I'm going to play the B part, and then you will play the A part, okay? 1, 2, ready, play. Another good reason to practice long tones is a lot of music almost has long tones built into it. Like, especially at the very end of a song, when you just play whoa to hold out a note, you know? If we practice long tones, then we already know how to hold out a note for a sustained length of time and keep that note consistent and have a nice full supporting tone. So, let's see. We already did march steps in the last one, so let's do lightly row this time. I think we can skip line 24. So we'll do lightly row. 1, 2, ready, play. Okay, great. So we're going to move on to page 8, line 27. And let's kick up the tempo just a little bit. We're nice and warmed up now. I think we can handle it. So right now we want to take a look at what we have in store for us with line 27. So we see that we have a new note. So it's called reaching higher because obviously the new note that we're learning is higher. And with higher notes comes a much greater need to have your embouchure really firm and tight and supported. It comes with a much greater need for more air support and especially a more consistent flow of air. And so we want to make sure that not only do we know the fingering of our new note, which is E, which is 3 fingers down right here, 2 fingers down right here. There we go, that's the E. Not only do we want to know the fingering, but we want to really make sure that we have the embouchure to support this note. Okay? So, why don't we just play a couple long tones on an E? Okay? So we're going to do 4 beats rest, 4 beats rest, and repeat that 2 times. Okay? So 1, 2, E, go. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so another really good thing to do when you're learning a new note is to switch between the note that you do know, which is D in this case, and the new note. So we'll switch between D and E. Metronome, we're in place. So we want to switch between the old note D and the new note E. So what we want to do is we want to really be careful that we're keeping our fingers close to the saxophone. We're not playing D and then E, sticking our fingers way up. We want to keep our fingers right on the pads, like they're glued to the pads almost. And we want to make sure that we're moving our fingers in rhythm too, so we don't get any weird like bleeding sound, like, you know, we want it really consistent. we've got our minds wrapped around the new note E, let's try playing line 27. Okay? 1, 2, 27, ready, play. Press 2. Press 2. Okay, so now that we've got E, let's move to line 28, Claire de Lune. Okay, 1, 2, 28, ready, play. Okay, really good job, everybody. I know this is, we're kind of barreling through all this stuff, but we got a lot of ground to cover, and I appreciate you sticking with me. You're doing a great job. So, we're going to do line 29 now. Make sure that you're taking big, deep breaths where the breath marks are, and counting both in your head and with stomping your foot. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 29. Press 2. Okay, great. So London Bridge is going to be the last thing we're going to do, and for your assignment for next week, I want you to finish out this page and look towards the next thing, because we're starting to get caught up, right? So we're going to do line 30, and again, I'm going to play the A part and then the B part, okay? Make sure to take the repeat. Here's me playing the A part. I want you to play the B part. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, play. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I'm going to play the B part, and I want you to play the A part. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. 2, 3, 4. Rest. 2, 3, 4.
4.
Okay, so that's all the time we have for today. Again, I really appreciate your focus and your dedication, and really excited for us to come back together soon. Take care.